Hello everyone and welcome back to LSI Summer Season. We're today for the Friday tier, the Miami Grand Prix, brand new track to the calendar, and for the final race. And you know, towards the end of the season it does always get a little bit low on attendance. Unfortunately it is going to be like that today. Only got 5 drivers competing, which one thing, yeah, it's a little bit disappointing. We can still have some good racing though. the other point is the championship is going to be very, very difficult for one driver to decide here. Zingy's very good at the circuit. He absolutely loves this circuit. He's done very well this season, of course. In the last few races, he hasn't won a feature race, and 2 of those he was crushed out of while leading. So Zingy, not probably, going to look at trying to take the win for the sprint race, of course, but for the feature race, it's just not quite been his way. This time he does need it. There's 20 points between these two, Breezer and Zingy. Zingy getting all the way back, not competing the 2021 part of the season. Now, in the 22 part, he is in the mix, in contention for the championship. Now, we will go on board with Reese, who's currently not set a lap time. And they're on an out lap down the first, into the first corner, braking just as the curb appears. Did it nicely into 4th gear. Make sure those revs are low so you don't spin out. Ran it nice and wide. Now hold it to the right hand side here. Open up the corner as much as you can. When you hit that black box, turn into the left. Don't really want to ride the curb on the left one, but you can on the outside one. This one, it gets a bit tricky. Can't do that, and they've lost the car. Riding that curb just absolutely unsettles it, and it screws it over. Breezer will be on the lap. We'll watch on board with this one. We'll actually watch on board with Zingy in a little bit, because he's obviously done very, very well. Not only in quali, but his whole stats are very high, and he's going to be looking for a pretty good time around here. As I said, he enjoys the circuit, and he's going to be looking to win here. Could this be his first win in the feature race this season? I think so. Obviously, there's only 5 drivers. Hopefully, we can get a 6th one. I think there's 1 or 2 drivers going to be trying to join for the feature race. They're just going to have to miss the sprint, unfortunately. But it is what it is. And that will definitely make it a little bit easier for Zingy, so he's going to have a better time. Still, he's got a bit of a job to do. He's still got a 20-point gap to make, but if he spins out, it's not like he's going to drop outside of the points. It's not like he's going to drop any further than 5th. Maybe 6th if we get another driver, of course. So, actually, he can still score 10 points. He can still score 10 points in the feature race. He would have to hope that Breezer retires, and that would mean he'd actually score 12 points. And if he then wins, of course, the sprint race with at least 1 fastest lap and then gets a P4, and Breezer DNFs, Zingy will be the champion. If Breezer can just score points today, they will be champion. It's going to be extremely difficult. If Zingy gets, of course, first place, he does get 20 points and then 8 points. So it would be 28 points if he was to win both feature and the sprint race on the purple sector, by the way. He could get 30 points for the fastest lap. So Breezer just needs to score 11 points or more. And if he gets that 4th place, Breezer will win. Up through the chicane, rides it nice and hard, allows you to open it up for the next one and ride that kind of in the middle of the sausage curb and the beginning of the curb. Lovely purple sector, now going to go down the straight, car to the left, but nothing to worry about. DRS available, just a long wait. Prepare yourself for that braking zone, get ready. Going to be the most perfect one that you've ever done. Very nicely done, a little bit wide, but not too bad, to be honest. Going very hard to the left, minimise track distance, now to the right, keep it as tight as you can, and across the line, the 27.7 on the board, and he is now, that is 4 tenths ahead of everyone else. Devin actually made it to P2, and then we have Luke actually on the way down the back straight. Going to look for an improvement here into the braking zone at 100 metres in this one. Round the corner, let's see how he takes it. Is he going to go to the left hand side like Zingy did? He did. And then now to the right hand side, across the line he goes. And it's up by 3/10, but it's not enough. He still needs another 2/10 to get Dave in. But he needs a lot more if he wants to get ahead. He needs 6/10 if he wants to get ahead of Zingy here. 6 minutes on the clock, 6.5 minutes on the clock, so they should have time to go again. It's just looking very, very difficult right now. Everybody just on in laps at this point. This guy's feeling pretty happy, I'm sure. 4/10 ahead of everyone else. So he's doing a great job. With the pace that he has, he deserves to be where he is. Breezer, with the consistency they've had, they deserve to be where they are. Both of them deserve this for very different reasons. And as long as it's a fair fight, and it's going to be a good championship. Crossing into the pit lane, looking at that pit lane, it's very hard to actually get right. The braking zone's probably a little bit earlier than you actually think, despite it being up a slight hill. Now let's see if we can get a second glance at this, with Luke of course. Because we will have to follow the pit lane entry during the race, otherwise you're going to get a time penalty. And they follow it nicely here. And manage to brake. Obviously we won't quite know if they do speed, they'll only know that for this, but maybe when we get into the race if somebody does speed we will find out, I'm sure. But other than that, we're just going to be waiting for somebody else to come back out, and honestly, probably not going to see cars coming out until about 30 seconds time to a minute's time, maybe even a minute and a half, I don't quite know. It's going to be a while, obviously. You want to wait for the track to kind of, over time, get better, and the more drivers that drive across it, it will get better. With 5 drivers, probably not going to be much better, unfortunately. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Sorry for the delay. Alrighty. Cool, cool. Now. Everything's done. Zingy, would he dare to go out again? That's the question. So, he has been out a couple times now, of course. And he's on the soft tyre. He's used a couple tyres. He's been out a couple times. So, he's actually, he might actually just decide to sit in. I don't know. Who's that coming out? Is that a Breezer? Breezer's going to look to improve. He's waited for as long as he possibly can. And we've got Cohen joining, so good to see. That could be a possible 3 people joining for the feature race, so that would be lovely to see. Lovely for Breezer, but also lovely for Zingy. They wanna see, both of them want to see more people in for the race, because of course it kind of it increases the risk factor, but it also increases the chance that they will be in a benefitable position, if that makes sense. Now, I'm not sure if Zingy's going to actually come out again. Obviously, looking at the time, it's a little bit slim. But also, he's used a couple tyres, and with a 4/10 gap, kind of Sebastian Vettel-esque, ironic because he's in the Red Bull, is he just going to sit in the pit lane and wait for this one? I have a very strong feeling that that's going to happen. Because unless they're just trying to wait, Cohen has just got in just in time. David is going out, and so is Luke. So Cohen has got in just in time, got into their Alfa Romeo seat. Could they get a quali lap in here? Could Cohen get a quali lap in here if they can get out of the pit lane soon enough? Breezer's going to go on a lap. Zingy has come out of the pit lane. Reese is the only one in the pit lane who we've seen come out so far. He hasn't seen a lap time yet. Breezer into turn 1. And it looks pretty tidy through turn 2 and into 3 we go. Lovely stuff. Now up to 4. Flick it through. Get as close as you can to the left-hand side curb. And then you can probably ride this right-hand side one. Ride that left. And then just ride as wide as you can without exceeding track limits. Get through nicely. They do choose to ride the curb. I know some people don't. There's benefits, of course, if you do ride it. There's benefits if you don't. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate the support in the chat. I do appreciate it a lot. Thank you. Alrighty. Into the heavy braking zone. Now up to the very tricky section. Can't quite remember what they call it, but let's call it the tight chicane, and he's drifted it. Oh, he's going to have another opportunity, but he's got no ERS left. He's got about half a battery, so he has to slam those brakes on, generate some energy if he wants to go again at this stage of the lap, but I think that's going to be pretty difficult to actually do anything. Davin, Luke, they're all looking for a lap here. Luke's actually ahead first, so watch on board with the McLaren. And Cohen, unfortunately, and Reese won't be setting lap time, so they're going to start in P5 and 6 alongside one another on the back row of the grid. They don't have anything to lose, but they have a lot to gain. And Luke's spun it. They've spun it on their quali lap. Davin, he's going to have to take avoiding action. Not really. Luke's luckily just going to sit there and allow everybody to pass. Fair play indeed. And then we will see Davin go through the S section. Gets through nicely. Very, very tidy here. Awesome job. DRS available at towards the middle of this straight and into the heavy braking zone. Like time 9, 10, 11, 12-ish. I think it might be 10 actually, because you've got 11, 12. No, this is 14 and 15, so I might have miscalculated that. But David comes around the final major corners. He's got one more to go. And then he will be on the home straight. Is he going to be able to challenge Zingy here for pole position? Breezer, it's possible if he can improve, but I don't know if it will be possible for them to improve. Unfortunately, I think they've had an issue at the chicane. I'm not quite sure, unless they're just travelling slower than I thought. They're in, it comes around the final corner. Is it going to be an improvement across the line? And it is, but it's not enough. It's not enough by a very small margin. Ziggy goes faster anyway. It wouldn't have been enough. Will Breezer be able to improve? No. They've got a invalidated lap time. Luke's not going to be able to improve. And Zingy is on pole position once again. They even got so close. But Zingy improved anyway. At 27.5 to put him on pole position for the sprint race. He's very confident around here. If he can get a good start, which I'm sure he can, he's going to be absolutely golden. He's going to be absolutely golden. Alrighty. Alrighty, so I think he starts from pole position once again. Don't know how many times I've said that now. But Red Bull on top. David in P2, Luke in P3, Breezer, the championship rival, last of the drivers to set a lap time, 1.3 seconds off Zingy there. That just shows you how confident Zingy is here. Reese in P5 and then Kern in P6. We're going to have a look at the race director just in case, but we probably shouldn't need to because it's qualifying, and then we will be back for the sprint race. We will see you in a bit. Hello on and welcome back to the LSI Summer Season. We're today for the Friday tier, the Miami Grand Prix. Don't know why I said all of that. Let me try again. The Miami Grand Prix, the finale of the Friday tier. Let's get it. Sprint race on its way. Zingy on pole position. Then we have Devin, Luke, Breezer, followed by Reese and Enikurn starting at the back now. Let's see what we got in store. Of course, if Zingy wins this race, that does put both Breezer and Zingy equal on wins. Now, then it goes to second places, and Breezer would win on second places. So, Zingy, really, he has to win this race. That's what he needs to do. Breezy, we know, is very consistent and he's very capable of making their way up the order. Zingy has to go for a fastest lap and a win. If he can't get the fastest lap, it's not the biggest deal, but it's going to help him massively, of course. Breezer has got a heck of a advantage here, but it's a lot of pressure to put on. And they have to hold everybody off behind as well. They need to finish in that P4. They need 12 points. That would put them on 98 points. The maximum that Zingy can get is, let me have a quick count, 96. The maximum that Zingy can get is 96 points. So he needs that 4th place in the feature race and he will win. But we're about to go racing. Hold your breath, clench your butt cheeks. Lights out and away we go. Who's going to get it into turn 1? Looks like a pretty decent start from Zingy. I don't think he's going to be contested. Luke goes a little bit squirmy off the beginning. And there's Cohen getting once again another amazing start up to P2 as Luke drops down. And Davin down to P4 after that one. I don't know if there's contact involved. I hope no one's got damage. On the inside goes Luke. I think he's going to have to back off for that one. No, he holds it around the outside. There's a touch. There's a touch and there's contact. I don't believe it. Reese is into the wall as he's collected. Davin, oh no, Breezer goes up through and they lost actually all their positions off the line. They go down to P4, no, down to P6, but back up to P4 as Reese and Davin collide. Cohen and Luke switching positions here. Of course, Cohen made that move up into P2 off the line. Luke right here. Reese is retired from the session off at turn 6, and that's him out of this one, up into the tight chicane, and it looks like that's going to be it for now as Zingy is able to escape 2.1 seconds ahead. Lovely stuff indeed. I don't think anybody's going to do anything. I think that's pretty much the first lap battles all gone, and it might just be a bit of a waiting game at this point. You know, we see Cohen right behind Luke, and then Breezer is following on. Breezer here needs to hold on. They have to make sure that they're in the DRS train. Purple sector there for Cohen as he follows behind Luke. But it's still not going to help. They need to try and catch up to Zingy if they want to go for this win, but I don't think they will be able to. Of course, no pit stops. With Zingy with this pace, 3 seconds away already. He thinks he might be driving AI right now. No insults intended, guys. You're all better drivers than me, that's for sure. That is 1,000,000%. Now, Luke leading the train. Cohen made a mistake. That puts him under threat from Breezer now. Breezer's right there, but Davin's actually very, very close to Breezer. He might want to look for a move sooner rather than later. He's pretty close. He's got a bit more straight line speed, but he's not going to go for the move here as Breezer makes some mistakes, almost goes off track there. They manage to recover it, and they actually gain time on Cohen as Cohen makes a mistake. They go off the circuit, and I think that's going to be Breezer through. Is he going to let his teammate through as well? Is there going to be contact? So close indeed, but Cohen has to slot in behind, making that mistake, magically saving it on the rear there as they go up the hill across the chicane, unfortunately, avoiding a time penalty just about. And Breezer will now inherit that 3rd place, and they're going to try and look for Luke here. Luke is now 3.3 seconds behind Zingy, 1.5 seconds ahead of Breezer. They've got nothing they need to worry about right now. Breezer, he's got a bit of a gap that he needs to try and get back. He's got 2 cars behind him as well, and DRS has just kicked in. So Devin and Curran are going to be right on their tail here. Don't know if he's got damage. A little bit tentative on the throttle there for Curran. Loses a lot of time by doing so. They've got a lot of understeer on the car as well, so I don't know if they do have damage. Maybe did they get involved in a bit of a lap 1 collision. Davin has unfortunately dropped behind Breezer, and they won't be able to go for a move despite the DRS from that far back. That's going to be it. Look at that straight line speed that Luke's got. He's escaping nicely. That's like over half a second maybe, or just under I should say, that he's just gained. Fat Tortoise will be with us for the feature race. Oh, and Breezer cutting the corner as they have to avoid it. And that is a 3-second time penalty for cutting the corner there. Looking at the time gain, they just gained 7/10 from that. And it's a little bit cheeky. I'm surprised they only got a 3-second, because that is a fair corner to cut. But okay. I don't think that was intentional, don't get me wrong. Made a mistake, and they've lost it. Contact of the wall and damage in the car. Oh, no, no, no. They can still score some points here in the sprint race. That's what they need. But the Alfa Romeos are going to be gobbling those points up, and they will take them for themselves. Lovely stuff. Breezer going to have to make a unscheduled pit stop, although they decide not to. And I think they're just going to carry on despite the damage. So fair enough. If I was Breezer... Actually, no, that's a good point. Breezer is probably going to stay out here and then wait till the end, and then he can go for a set of softs and try and get a fastest lap. That will just make it that a little bit more difficult for Zingy to win, of course. Now, Breezer still has to go and get that fastest lap on those softs. Zingy, at this stage in the race, probably won't be able to. If you say this is consistent and that he's going to gain another 4 seconds in 4 laps, then Zingy will not be able to pit. Otherwise, everybody would overtake him. But he's doing a phenomenal job, I have to say that for sure. I have to say that for sure. Now, nothing really to see at the moment. Everybody's pretty spread apart, and they're just trying to make it to the end of this race. And then they'll be good to go. Of course, you got the 2 USA drivers, Fat Tortoise and Marco, joining for the feature race. That'd be great to see them. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll be seeing Reese in the feature race. But other than that, this is the current grid. Reese is looking for 4 points here. Yeah, that's 4 points. Just making sure. 4 points. So if they get 4 points here, of course they needed 12 points to be able to get to 98. Hold on. Am I calculating this wrong here? So Zingy can get a maximum of 30 points on top of that 66. So he'll be on 96 points. He can't get any more than that. This guy needs to do his absolute best. He can get a maximum of course, 30 points. And Breezer, he just needs to make sure that he gets over 96 points. So with this, he's going to have an extra 4 points, which would then mean he has 90 points. So all Breezer needs, if he gets this, all he'd need is to get 7 points in the feature race. If he gets 7 points in the feature race, he will win the championship. If this currently stands, if he finishes like this in the sprint race. That is the current situation. He's doing a phenomenal job. let's watch on board for a while, I think, until David catches up to Luke. It looks like he is currently catching up. So we go through, looking like a pretty decent time right now, just jollying along, having a great time. Into the braking zone, down the DRS straight, not got the DRS of course, not quite yet, but they will have it eventually. No they won't, why would they? I'm not sure, I'm waffling. Into the final sector now we head. Very, very lovely, nice and tidily over that curb. Nothing to risk here for Zingy, he's just going to keep it consistent. And that's how you do it. That is how you do it. Down the straight. And that's pretty much going to be it for him for this lap. And Davin is going to be right behind Luke. So they're going to get DRS soon if they can push, of course. They're close. They need to be a little bit closer though. On the skin of their teeth, and I think they've just about missed DRS unless they just about got it. I don't quite know. Here we go, across the line. They did unfortunately miss out here, but they're looking pretty rapid, and they'll look to get it into on the exit of turn 7, of course, into 8. Oh no, and Luke's round again, and once again spun at that corner like he did in quali, and that is now down the order. Cohen's going to make that one move, or make that move, and Breezer might fancy his chances if Luke's tyres are too hot, but right now I don't know if it's going to be possible. Breezer's best opportunity here is to pit for a set of softs and go for that faster lap, because it still does count. Zingy leads the way after all that shenanigans happens behind him. Davin takes that P2 and Cohen takes that P3. No need to make an actual overtake in the end, as Luke unfortunately just made that mistake. The same mistake at turn 4. And it's not ideal, of course. It loses you all that time. Is that turn 3, actually, I should say. It's such a shame. It's such a shame. It would have been a nice battle we could have had, but unfortunately, that's that. That's that done. And, not going to be able to fight. We'll watch on board with Zingy once again. Watch on a whole lap here. Bit of a lock-up, but nothing to worry about too much. Now, as you come out the final few corners, goes nice and tight, trying to go for maybe fast laps. I don't quite know. Marco joins the session. Lovely stuff. And into turn 1. Hits that curve nicely. Very, very tidy indeed. Got all the confidence in the world on those curves. Into the S section. Flick it through. Once again, got all the confidence in the world on these curves here. You're going to have to lift slightly as you go down the hill into turn 7, because the new handling model does seem to make you lose the rear a little bit harder, I think, around that corner. Personally, that's what I felt. Now down the straight. Into the braking zone. Just under the bridge, maybe just after, not quite sure. Slightly missed it, but not too bad. Kind of have a bit of a double apex on that corner there. Up the chicane, once again. Very tidy from Zingy there, even harder on that second curb, and doesn't phase them at all. Down the back straight they go. You can gain a lot of time if you've run a really low setup. Don't quite know what they're running, if it's low or high. Obviously I wouldn't tell you the exact wings if I did know, but I would just say maybe if it was a high or a low setup. I don't quite know. 9.6 seconds and a fastest lap there for Zingy. Breezer's going to have to think about reacting here. They've got this lap to go in, and then they'll go on to the next lap, of course. But Zingy going for that fastest lap on lap 9 out of 10, and he's got 9.6 seconds. Will Zingy be able to get to 11 seconds at the end of this race? But no, Breezer spun it. Luckily for them, they haven't DNF'd and they can carry on. They can go into the pit lane and put a set of softs on if they're going to think about it or not. They don't. It's too late. They've gone. Cohen retires from the session. Cohen retires from the session, and they're going to gain a free position as Cohen retires on the same corner that Luke spun. Turn 3. I don't see that one coming. I'm not going to lie. on the left-hand side. Easily done. Just dropped it. Breezer will gain an extra point. They could have gained an extra 2 points if they pitted for a set of softs, but they didn't. Zingy's going to gain an extra point, and Zingy's going to look for 9 points here instead of 8. Can he get it done? Can he get it done here? Zingy into the final corner. As he now starts the final lap of the sprint race. What a guy, what a guy. I think we're just going to watch him really. Of course, running out of ERS, but he's already got that fast lap. Not sure if anybody can fight back. David crosses the line. He's not going to fight back this lap. It's unlikely you'll get it on the last lap compared to lap 9. Of course, it has to be so much better. And Luke crosses the line. They're not going to improve. And Breezer's got the damage, of course. So they're not going to improve either. And Zingy has just got half a lap to go. And he will win the sprint race with maximum points. That'll be 9 points to his name. And that will be him on 75 points for the championship. 75 points. Useful points that he needs. He needs to get as many as he can. And he's starting off the weekend like an absolute champion. Can he get it again? Can he get it again? Round the final few corners. He doesn't need to risk anything here. He doesn't need to risk anything here. The only thing that he risked by going slowly is fastest lap. Will they even go for it? I don't quite know. I assume on the final lap it's not going to be possible. Using ERS though, Luke probably not going to be able to do it as well. It's the final lap, but this guy has done it once again. Going to come around the final corner, and he's going to win the inaugural Miami Grand Prix. Well done. He takes the win for the sprint race, and then Davin will come round to P2, and they will finish a race. Good to see them on the podium. It's been a while. Luke in P3. Around the final corner he goes. And that is going to be a lovely result for McLaren. And Breezer is not what he wanted. It's not what he wanted at all. But it's still points. It is still points here. Five points to his name. So that is lovely stuff for him. He's now going to be, of course, with 91 points. 91 points. He's on 86 going into this weekend. 91 points is now what he's on. All he needs. Driver of the day, Zingy, fair play. I do agree with that one for sure. Now, Zingy wins, Dave in P2 and Luke in P3. Breezer, Kerr and Reese finishing off the grid. Looking at the sprint rate results, of course. And then we'll quickly have a look at the race director. But once again, it doesn't work. And we will have to see you in a bit for the feature race. Don't go anywhere. Hello everyone and welcome back to LSI Summer Season. We're here today for the Friday tier, the Miami Grand Prix, the final race. And I mean it this time, I'm not just saying it's the final race. It is the final race, it's the feature race, it's where the big points are. And it's where it all counts. Zingy on a pole position for the sprint race, and he wins the sprint race, and he's now starting from the front row in the feature. Zingy on pole, David in P2, and then Luke in P3. Then we have Breezer, Cohen, Reese in P6, but they are AFK unfortunately, so they will not be classed as a finishing car. And then Fat Tortoise in P7, followed by Marco. Fat Tortoise will score points for Haas, and Marco will score points for Ferrari. Just putting that out there. Now Zingy, he needs to win this race, and he needs to get fastest lap. If Breezer, if Zingy does win this race and Zingy gets fastest lap, Breezer needs 6 points. If Zingy doesn't get fastest lap, Breezer needs 5 points. Of course, if Zingy doesn't win, that's a 4-point difference between P1 and P2. And then Breezer would only need, it's like 1 point to win the championship. If my calculations are correct. We'll find time to do it later. But right now, we've got a Grand Prix to get on with. Zingy is just lining up, and hold your breath, clench your butt cheeks, because we're about to go racing for the final time in the summer season. The Friday tier. Lights out and away we go. Who's going to get it? Zingy gets away well, but Luke, can he have a go? Is he going to get a good start? No, not quite, but oh, that's Cohen trying to make his way through. There's contact again! Again, he's done it again! And that is Fat Tortoise making their way up to P3. Breezer to P4, taking once again a conservative start. Marco to P6, and Luke and Cohen down the order. I don't know what Cohen was thinking as he tries to risk it for no reason on the inside of Luke. Luke's managed to get away with no damage. I don't know if there was any big damage at all, but Cohen has something, I believe, and that is Breezer getting through nicely. As Fat Tortoise also, they get through. They were the one who received the damage because of that crash. So despite being in P3, they've got a front end plate missing. They can still carry on with these new cars, but it's gonna be so difficult. And I don't believe what I just saw there. That was absolutely crazy. But one guy who has benefited from this is Zingy, who has got a 1.7 second gap to the rest of the field. What a start from him. Breezer in P4. Remember, if Zingy wins this race and the fastest lap, all Breezer needs to do is score 6 points. So right now, they are winning by a fair bit. They've got 12 points in the bag at this stage of the race. Looking further back on the grid, Marco trying to go defensive here for Lucas. Luke attempts to work their way back up the grid. They've got the superior tyres. No, they don't. They're on equal tyres as Marco's now the inside line. But does Luke have the run? We've got an Alfa Romeo as well. Going to make it 3 wide. And Cohen on the inside. Luke gonna have to go round the outside. Now he has the inside. Now he has the outside line. And oh no, that's Fat Tortoise making a mistake, and is all getting very technical up front here. Luke wants to hold on to this position, but Cohen's gonna try and make it around the outside once again. Now to the outside line, and Cohen makes a mistake. Has to allow Luke to go through eventually. Very lovely racing. Hard racing indeed. But Luke's not letting that one go after the crush they had at the beginning, and Luke losing all of that time. He wants to make sure he makes that move. Cohen's going to try and charge his way back through again into the DRS straight. Not got DRS just yet. To the outside line, going to try and hook it round the outside as Luke has to leave the space at this point. He's now dropped down behind a little bit, and I think he might have to let it go into the chicane. He does have to indeed. Cohen, hard fought, but fair enough. Of course, despite the turn 1 crash, but other than that, that was very tidy indeed. Very tricky with the Mercedes going slow up ahead, of course. That Toyota struggling with that damage. Now, will Luke try and challenge back? They've got a bit of straight line speed on them, I have to say. I know they are in the tow, but they're looking pretty pacey. They weren't even using any energy there, I don't believe. And we have Cohen. Oh, DRS available, but Luke making that mistake once again, struggling with the rear. It's not ideal, especially for a track like this. Breezer right now doing a good job, but they made a mistake. They made a mistake and they can't be doing that. Cohen's going to catch up and they're going to be in DRS range. And although they're not going to pass yet, they will be able to pass very, very soon. And that was a crucial mistake there. That was time. That was time that Breezer had an advantage of, and he was able to focus a little bit. But making that mistake will now bring Cohen into the fight. Doesn't get close enough. Makes a mistake on exit. That's going to bring Luke with him, actually. And yeah, that's Breezer managing to get a very good exit. They're going to hold on. Actually, they're not going to hold on, as Cohen's going to use a lot of ERS to try and get the move done earlier. Breezer to the inside line now. They're still going to hold it. Watching on board with Luke. Breezer is still going to try and hold it around the outside. Cohen's got it now. He's got the inside line just about, and he will take it. They were fully side by side. He had the inside line. He had the advantage. Breezer had to back out. It's hard, but it's just how it went, and Breezer's not going to be happy. Luke's going to want to try and get through, but he realises it's not worth fighting something if they're really going to fight this hard at this stage of the Grand Prix, of course. Anything can happen. Luke's very quick. He just needs to keep it cautious here. Struggling on the rear at this corner and turn 3. He really needs to save the car for later on when it gets a bit tricky. So far, very, very entertaining. Breezer holding on to their position in P4 now. Luke's got a very nice run, and they might even try and challenge. Nope, they're going to let Breezer go back again. And Breezer's taken an inside line. A switchback could be available here from Luke as he goes slightly wide. Is he going to dive to the inside? Yes, he will. He is going to dive to the inside as it's very, very tight. Breezer doesn't want to let it go. He knows that he's going to get the DRS and that's going to help him defend. Cohen makes a mistake on exit there, and that will actually allow Breezer to get close, but Luke's going to try and charge through if possible. And in the end, Cohen's not going to be challenged. Cohen can choose who he wants to defend from. He decides to go and take the racing line. Luke's not going to be able to brake as late as he might have wanted to. Breezer now on the outside line drops back. Is he going to have the advantage up the hill? He tries his best, and it's going to be side by side. Has to back out just about. Made it through the corner, and Luke does take it. Did he get a DRS? That's the question. No, he didn't get DRS, so he's lost that crucial for this race. He's not going to be able to catch up. The margin is so close, but that's going to be it. I don't think he's going to get it. Tries to brake as late as possible, misses the apex slightly in a sacrifice to try and get that DRS. I don't know actually where the DRS line is, if it's just there or not. Doesn't get it again, so he's going to have to push a little bit harder if he wants to get it. But Breezer might have just screwed himself up a little bit there. He could have used Luke as a bit of a train, but not anymore. And that's Marco down the order, unfortunately. They were close to these guys up ahead, but unfortunately, going to drop back. Of course, they are running in P6 with Reese's AI car. Zingy leads the way by 4 seconds now, doing a similar job that he did last time around. Doing a phenomenal job, I should say. He has nothing wrong at the moment. He's just cruising at this stage. Going to look for a fastest lap later on the medium tyre already. So if they do have enough an advantage, of course we saw them get almost, I think it was around 11 seconds in 10 laps. In that case, if they can do that, then they're going to be able to make an extra pit stop at the end and go for a set of softs. That's if a safety car, of course, isn't brung out. Now, a time penalty there for Cohen, unfortunately, as he's actually made a mistake, and that allows Luke to get through. We're going to have to watch on board with this battle. Again, I will still have a bit of a chat about Zingy, of course. If he can do that, he will have an advantage. He'll be able to maybe make an extra pit stop. I don't quite know what his strategy is going to be here. He's usually very, very good on them. He can mix things up, try and take some ideas from his old rival, Philemon. But Luke, running in P4, sounding a bit like a Formula E car from that perspective there, unfortunately. Now you can hear the engine, lovely stuff. And close to Cohen. This time, Cohen is probably not going to have enough time to try and escape the DRS range. Of course, Luke's got 2 doses of the DRS on that last lap, or on the last lap and on the start of this lap. And now he's very, very close, almost touching Cohen on the rear there. No innuendo intended, and it's gonna try and make it P3 here into the braking zone, I'm sure. Got the DRS, doesn't need to really challenge on the ERS if they're that close, and Cohen, I think he's just gonna have to let this one go, but no, he fights it into the braking zone. Not on the straight, but into the braking zone. Very tactical, trying to save that ERS a little bit. They'll go up the hill. A very, very terrible line there for Cohen. I do not mean to insult there. That wasn't an insult. That was just absolutely horrendous there for Cohen. And I thought it was going to put him at threat for this straight, but not really as much as I thought. He absolutely nailed that exit, whereas Luke had a bit of a problem there. And into the braking zone they'll go. Are they going to attempt to move? No, they're just going to try and bait them into a mistake. They go slightly wide, Cohen, and Luke does maybe get a slight mind game advantage. He'd have to blast the ERS if he wants to go for a move into turn 1, but he's not going to go for it now. He's just going to let it go, and once again, very late on the brakes and almost too close there for Luke. Needs to be careful on that one, and he's hit the wall. He's hit the wall. Breeze is going to go through. Might have had damage from that one as well. I don't believe it. Once again, makes a mistake at turn 3, and he said he's got the time trial set up. It's definitely not going to work around a circuit like this, ever. Oh, no, no, no. It was looking like such a good battle, but it's over already. He does have damage, unfortunately. So it might be time for a little bit of a change of the strategy. I don't know. With these cars, of course, you can go on despite the damage. At this stage of the race, are they going to try and go on? They're on the hard tyre. They kind of have no choice. Unless they could go for set of mediums, then softs. But I don't know if that'd actually be faster. They're just staying out with this damage because you don't lose too much time. Of course, we saw Iga Pro back in Australia overtaking with no front wing in the rain. So that is how different the 2022 cars are compared to the 21 cars. Now, Breezer not quite in DRS range there. Are they going to get a good enough exit to get it here? Unfortunately not. And Luke will not be able to get a good enough exit either. He's going to go for a pit stop, actually. Let's watch on board and see what he goes for. This might cause other people to react. I don't quite know. It's obviously very different to what you want to be doing on a hard tyre. He goes for the medium tyre. Hasn't been on them yet. So if he wanted to, he could go for 19 laps on these tyres. 19, 20. Sorry for that noise. Didn't mean to do that. Is that a 19 laps on the tyres? I can't quite remember. I can't quite calculate it. Honestly, it's way too hot. But around there. 19 laps, let's just say. Maybe 20 laps, actually. Yeah, no, it's 21 laps, isn't it? On the medium. So he's got to hope for a safety car and then go for a set of softs later on. Looks in a bit of a difficult situation, I should say. But it could be worse. He could be out of the session. Zingy, 6 seconds ahead now. Obviously, there's a lot more at stake here in the feature race, so you don't need to try as hard. Davin is on that medium tyre, and they are catching up, I should say. Or they maybe not catching up, but equalising the pace just a little bit. Of course, that hard tyre is going to get faster throughout, and I'm not going to lie, I didn't expect it to get much faster until lap 12, but he seems to be not losing too much time. I say that though, he has just lost 2 tenths from Zingy. We've got a yellow sector as I believe that was Factors into the chicane. Yes, it was, unfortunately struggling a little bit. Of course, they had that damage at the beginning, so off the get-go, they were in a bit of trouble, unfortunately, after that turn 1 collision. But yeah, other than that, need to try and put some laps in, and they can still score points here. They can still score points. Of course, they'll score those points for Haas. Zingy around the final corner onto the straight, onto the back straight. Just in a rhythm right now. Full focus. Don't need to worry about anything. They've got a large gap. They don't need to push. They're extending the gap as well. It's just time to relax and focus the energy later on when it counts a little bit more. Zingy's doing a phenomenal job. Let's see what the fastest lap situation is looking like. He does have it, 31.5. It's not really being contested too much at all. 31.3, I should say. Almost a whole second quicker than David. And, you know, that's understandable with the difference in tyre, but everyone else, I think he is just miles ahead right now. I haven't actually checked the, of course, tyres, so let's have a look at the tyres. We've got Zingy, Cohen, Luke and Fat Tortoise all on the mediums. Luke and Fat Tortoise have already made pit stops here, going for the fastest lap. No surprise there for Luke. So it does take it away from Zingy. Everyone else starting on the hards. Everyone else starting on the hards. So they're going to be on the faster tyre later on. Zingy, could he attempt a medium soft here? If he did, then he'd have a significantly faster lap time. Because they are absolutely rapid on 1 lap pace. But once 1 lap pace is done, it's absolutely game over. So Zingy leads the way, 7.7 seconds now, so extended by quite a nice margin. Doing a phenomenal job. We've got Breezer and Cohen closest together, but right now there's nothing really to worry about them. But let's continue talking about the championship. So now Zingy doesn't have that fastest lap. He's got 20 points. That would put him on 95 points. He's getting 95 points, and all Breezer would need to do is get 5 points, and they would win. They're currently in P3 now as Cohen makes a pit stop. I should say, so they were in P4. That's 12 points to their name. So currently, they're winning the championship. They just need to keep it careful, keep it consistent, and score more than 6 points, ideally, of course. 7 points to be very, very safe. So yeah, he just needs to get more than 7 points and he'll be good to go. And currently, 12 points. Almost double that he needs. So doing a great job so far. Now, that is going into the pit lane, onto a set of hard tyres from their medium tyres. So they've gone fairly early. So maybe that is the actual pit window. And Zingy is going to try and extend it. Lap 11 out of 29. We could see pit stops come about soon. He crosses the line, doesn't take it to the pit lane. So if we see Cohen do a lap 11 to 12 pit stop, we'll be seeing, unfortunately, another time penalty for him. But we'll be seeing the hard tyre runners make a pit stop on around about, is that lap 18? So 17 to 20 maybe. That'll be probably the pit window, 17 to 20 for the hard tyre runners that haven't pitted, of course. And then Zingy is just looking to go for something very, very different here, I think. So this could be him conserving the tyres and Cohen's retired. In the pit lane, they've given up. Why? Cohen's out of the race. Okay. That's them done. Cohen's gone, and they will not be scoring any points after all. After all that. A yellow sector in Sector 3, of course. They've retired in the pit lane. So no safety car will be deployed. And that is a mega advantage to Breezer. Because now... Well, I say mega advantage. It's not really too much an advantage, but it does mean if he does drop down the order, he's got less competitors to fight with. I don't quite know what happened there. Unfortunately, that's the first retirement of the session. Zingy leads the way. Probably got a bit of a scare from that one. Doesn't need to worry too much. And David in P2, nothing to worry about for them. Right now they're just trying to drive the car, take it home at this point. Of course, Breezer in P3 now. They're going to score 14 points if they finish where they are, and that's just more of an advantage, of course. So right now it's all just pretty calm, nothing to worry about. Luke with these 5 lap old medium tyres, 4-second gap I should say, looking to try and catch up to Marco. Marco's of course not going to be probably making a pit stop until between lap 17 to 20. That's if Cohen's made a pit stop on lap 11, if that's the right pit window. But of course Luke needs to try and preserve these tyres as much best as he can. He had to pit a lot earlier than scheduled. In theory he could go to the end, but it's going to be very, very difficult to. Just got to try and nurse those tyres around the circuit. Outdoors is unfortunately getting a time penalty, and once again losing the rear at these long sweeping corners, and that's not going to help tyre wear at all. So if Luke does want to go to the end, sorry for the mic issue there, then he's going to have to try something a little bit different. He's absolutely rapid, don't get me wrong, but he's in a bit of a situation here. And he needs to make sure that he doesn't lose the rear. Obviously, the cars ahead do have to make pit stops, so Marco, Breezer, David and Zingy all going to be closing a little bit. And Luke will get the advantage. So right now he is probably net ahead of Marco, of course. Marco right there, not quite got DRS, very, very close to though. He will probably get it, I assume, onto the start-finish straight, unless Marco absolutely destroys him on the straight, which it looks like he will do. No, did get DRS actually in the end, so that will help Luke catch back up, but Marco is absolutely rapid on the straight here, might be trying to force that of ERS. Doesn't really matter, he's still done it. And Luke's going to have to wait till the back straight, but goes to the pit lane, Marco. The early hard runner pit stop. And no overtake needed for Luke in the end. He got the DRS again just to help him. And now he's going to have to try and hunt down Breezer. Marco's put the intermediate tyres on. What's gone on? What just happened? The intermediate tyres have been put on for Marco's car, and he's going to have to make another pit stop to put on a set of mediums. I do not believe it. I do not believe it. Marco is absolutely screwed with the tyre situation. Look like they're doing alright here, but the rears are going to heat up significantly. He's going to be thanking EA for making the tyres a lot harder to warm up. So he's going to be alright for the first part of the lap at least, but after that he's going to have to be a little bit cautious, I'm sure. Inter seem alright right now. I mean, of course they're gaining time on Reese's AI actually, so that's not actually another driver, so fair enough. But Marco is going to drop down behind Factorzas. Factorzas does need to make another pit stop at some point soon, however. But a bit of a twist there for Marco, and of course Luke. Luke is going to be hoping that he can get easy passes from Breezer and Davin. Maybe hope that they go longer into their stints so they drop further behind him. Maybe hope that they drop sooner so he can get close and fight them towards the end, and their tyres won't have maybe so much of an advantage. Marco's actually carrying on with these intermediate tyres, and obviously as soon as that happens they've regretted it, and that is in a very dangerous situation, and that is going to be a safety car, and I know who's going to be absolutely furious for that one. Zingy. Zingy's going to be absolutely furious. A driver's decided to stay out on a set of intermediate tyres in dry conditions, causing a safety car, and now everybody's going to be bunched up, and Breezer now has a possible advantage here. Breezer still, however, needs to execute a good start here. Davin gets straight into the pit lane. He's able to react right away. He's able to react right away. And Davin will now gain a bit of time. Don't know how much, of course. Zingy will have to catch up to the safety car until the delta disappears. So the chances are Zingy's still going to maintain this lead. Luke's going to be able to jump ahead. They're going to be able to save their tyres a little bit, and they actually are going to be looking at going to the end on these mediums. If I was Luke, I wouldn't do that. I would look for a different tyre. I would probably attempt to go for a set of softs here, because in theory, if we're going to be under the safety car conditions for a few laps, he's going to be able to do 10 laps on the softs, and he will be able to have a decent run. Zingy might even do that here. Nope, he's going to stay out, but then he crosses the pit line, and that is not going to help him. So unfortunately, that's going to be investigated by race control. Zingy's going to go for that soft tyre. And after crossing that pit lane entry, he needs to use that soft tyre to his advantage. Unfortunately. But Zingy is going to now come out, of course, leading the race. Sorry for the mic touch there. And now Zingy is right behind. Alrighty. Zingy leads the way on the soft tyre. Davin goes for set of mediums. Of course, they have it ready, and there's nothing really for them to lose, although they could go for the softs to the end. It is really up to them. Davin's going to be in a very good position here. Luke in third right now. Their tyres are a little bit old, but they can still go to the end if they can save these tyres a little bit more. And the safety car conditions, Breezer is going to be absolutely golden to go to the end. Factorzas, of course, in P5 of Reese's AI is going to be classed as DSC, disconnected. At the end of the session, they won't score any points. So, Breezer can only fall to 5th here, and that would be 10 points. So as long as Breezer doesn't DNF, in this race, they will score 10 points, and they will win the championship no matter what. Of course, they only need 7 points to win. 6 points to win. They only need 6 points to win the championship. They will be crowned Summer Season Friday Tier Champion. They've got a lot in their favour right now. Zingy was doing everything he needed, and then the safety car came out, and it has, I wouldn't say screwed him over, because, you know, there's still a lot he can gain from this. He's going to be absolutely rapid off the line and have an attempt at a fastest lap as well. Breezer could get a bit not held up, but involved in the battles here. Of course, he's got 2 cars in between himself and Zingy, and also Fat Tortoise behind. So if he did get a bit caught up in the battling, he could even lose it. So it's not the worst situation to be in for Zingy, and it might actually be a better situation, because at the time, earlier on before the safety car, Breezer had no one to fight in front or behind, and he was just driving the car. So this is actually a little bit of a blessing in disguise. Yes, it's annoying, I'm sure Zingy's not happy with it, but it really is actually probably a benefit for him. It does mean he's going to have to try and extend that gap once again. But yeah. And I hate to say it, I really do. Unfortunately, we did see Zingy cross the pit entry and exit line. We did see a fair few of the drivers stay within the lines, and unfortunately Zingy's crossed both entry and exit. And of course, rules state 5-second time penalty if you exceed either one. So I can't confirm, I cannot confirm, and I don't want to say it's true, but a 10-second time penalty could be on the cards here for Zingy, unfortunately. So he's going to need a 10-second gap, which isn't impossible. It's not impossible, but he'll need a 10-second gap for the rest of the field here. Unfortunately, Fat Tortoise has spun under the safety car conditions, which is going to delay the start of the race, unfortunately. But nothing we can do about that now. We're just going to wait for them to catch up. Of course, if they don't get close enough to the grid within about 4 laps it kind of area, we will just go in anyway and the race will resume. I think he's just got to think about things here, make sure that he's good to go. Luke does opt for that soft tyre. You know, he only drops behind the ghost car of Reese. So Reese isn't going to be class, so Luke doesn't actually really drop anything. There's going to be a little bit of a gap between himself and Breezer because of the ghost car. But he'll be now on the soft tyre, he'll be on fresh softs compared to everybody else, and he'll be good to go. Don't know if we're going to be going in this lap or it's going to be the next lap, I can't quite say. Of course, you've got quite a few straights to go through, so it will make it fairly difficult for the car behind to catch up where there are straights. But of course, he's in the Formula 1 car. He could be good to catch up here, especially when it gets to the final sector. The safety car doesn't really get confirmed until we get to the back straight, and you're maybe a little bit away down the back straight. So they're coming into the final sector now. Fat Tortoise is going to be catching up, and they're going to be very quick compared to the safety car. These guys are going to have to be aware for a possible restart. It's unlikely, but it's very possible. Safety car coming round the final corner to start the back straight, and Fat Tortoise is very, very close, coming through the tight chicane here. Unfortunately for them, they haven't made it, and the safety car is going to come in this lap, so they have made it. They have made it. The safety car will come in this lap. Everybody's going to have to warm up their tyres as much as they possibly can. 21 out of 29 is when we will be going racing once again. A very late safety car. I expected it. I didn't believe it was going to be quite true. When will Zingy go for that restart? Safety car comes around the final corner now. Into the pit lane it goes. Zingy will be able to go, and he's gone for it. Lovely reaction, and Breezer hasn't reacted yet. Davin, he reacted late, but he reacted enough. Davin in P2, Breezer, a massive delay on the reaction there, and an even bigger delay as Luke, of course, has to drop behind, trying to get past the AI car of Reese, and unfortunately, of course, they've overtaken it very early before the start-finish line. And they do get a 5-second time penalty. They overtook before the safety car line. So they're going to have to serve that 5-second time penalty at the end of the race. They're going to be rapid here and they're going to be able to push, but that is not ideal. Zingy breaks away nicely despite the late call for the safety car to come in, of course. What a way to restart there. What a way to restart. David in P2. They've now got Breezer on equal tyres right behind. If Breezer can hold on to DRS, he might be in for a bit of a challenge to try and get P2 here. David knows what's at stake though between his rival in front and behind. Of course, this championship is at stake here. Now, just need to try and keep a consistent Breezer because he doesn't need to risk anything. Of course, if he finishes this race, he is the champion. It doesn't matter. As long as he finishes this race, it's good to go. Safety car will help him because, of course, there's a couple laps that he won't really have that much of a risk of retiring from the session, and he can get on some nice fresh tyres and not really have much of a struggle. Luke's going to catch up. They're going to want to make the move as soon as they can, especially if that time penalty. Zingy's going to go for that fastest lap, and it doesn't really matter at this stage of the race. Luke is in P4. He's going to be looking for a move sooner rather than later. DRS will be available. He just needs to keep it consistent. And he'll get a very good run. Of course, the soft tyres, the advantage he'll have, he will just gain a massive amount on the traction zone, which will significantly contribute to his straight line speed. As you can see, right on the power, matches Breezer, immediately advantage for Luke to the outside line, now to the inside, now to the outside. Side by side they go down the DRS straight. No DRS actually available. It's not worth fighting for Breezer. He's got enough points in the bag. He just needs to make it home. He wanted the podium. It might be possible, of course, with Luke getting this time penalty. But I don't know. I don't quite know. Luke just needs to push as hard as he can. He will be able to catch up to David. And he will be able to fight for that P2. I think he has to just extend as much as he can, as far as he can. And play his cards right. He just has to absolutely charge through the field. Not the field, just charge on his own. Put some time trial laps in, put some qualifying lap times in, and then get to the end of the race, of course. Luke's going to be catching 1.2 seconds. Let's see how it changes as they get to the S section. Not going to lie, the soft tyres won't last too much longer, so they've got to make every little bit of the pace count in that car. And they don't actually catch that much in the S section there. On the exit, let's see if they have an advantage on the straights. They do have an advantage. They are going to make the gap down, maybe even to a sub 2 seconds. Maybe not. Maybe not quite. Just a 2.1. It's still a very, very good advantage they have in a straight. But for Luke in the corners, they're not actually gaining that much time, which they should be. On Davin, they gain nicely in the final sector, but lose it again immediately on the exit. So the straights are really their advantage, and I thought Davin would have the advantage on the straights as the medium tyre, but actually it's the other way round, and the softs seem to have already died off. It seems to have already died off. Luke might not be able to actually get that P2 after all, and needs to just hold on to the rear here. He's got a 5-second time penalty. He has to hope that Breezer doesn't pick up the pace. He has to hope that he can get ahead of that 5-second time penalty and have the advantage. Otherwise, he's going to be in trouble here. And he's going to drop down out of the podium positions. Breezer's in a brilliant position. They've got that medium tyre. Unfortunately, Luke had to use his earlier on, of course, after that early on spin on the hards. He just had no real option but to go for the medium tyre. Right now, it's all pretty even. The gap between Devin, Luke and Breezer. It's very, very close. But nothing can really be done at this point. Factoritus unfortunately not able to catch up to these guys behind. But he's still on his way for some points. That'll be 10 points in the bag for the Haas team. Luke losing 2/10. Same part of the lap we look at. He's lost 2/10. Gained it back immediately. But on exit, he loses again. So you can see that these soft tyres are just not good anymore. With the traction, they're absolutely dead. Zingy says otherwise. Zingy's absolutely banging it right now on the soft tyres. He's got a 5-second advantage to the rest of the field, which is what he needs. Really, he needs a 10-second advantage if he wants to win this race, to be safe at least. Obviously, he will win this race. Post-race penalties might change it, but I don't quite know. And I can't confirm, and I don't want to confirm, because I don't want that to change the excitement of today. But Zingy leads the way. Dayan in P2, Luke in P3, Breezer making a mistake and losing it to Luke actually. So they've lost a bit of time. Nothing to really worry about, but it might mean that that 5-second time penalty that Luke has could be possibly out of reach. That's if Luke has the pace and consistency on that tyre to keep going at this pace. Can he extend? The Breezer, he knows what he's got to do, but he also knows, is it worth the risk? Probably not. A podium's nice, but if it's not possible, it is what it is. Right now, he just needs to score 6 points to be very, very safe, and he will be good to go. And right now, he's scoring 12. Looking at the fastest lap, Zingy does hold it, 29.7 and a 30.2 for Luke. So that is a almost 3/6 advantage almost, or roundabouts, that Zingy has on the fastest lap. Are we going to get rain? We are going to get rain. It's very, very, very dark, and we see raindrops actually on the screen on the final few laps of the Miami Grand Prix. Okay, this is going to be interesting. Zingy's going to be the one leading, of course. He's going to be the first one to react. They knew it was coming. We didn't know, of course we don't get to see, but they do know when the rain's coming. We see the drops. It's probably not going to be enough for a set of wet tyres, but it's going to be very difficult. You're going to have to be on a greasy circuit on a set of slicks. It's going to be so tricky to get right. Zingy, he's the one to react. No one going to be on the inters, I'd assume, at this stage of the race at least. Lap 26 under 29 is when the rain is beginning. And the track's still dry at this point, but they just got to be careful. Davin, he doesn't need to risk anything at the moment. He's got a heck of a gap between everybody. Although, this rain coming in has actually seen Zingy gain a lot of time. A mistake there from Davin. Now, Zingy all of a sudden only needs to find 3 seconds to actually secure a win despite the post time penalties that he might be getting here. Davin needs to try and hold that 10 seconds. And obviously I can't confirm it, but it would be lovely to see them on the top. I would love everybody to win a race, honestly. But unfortunately, that's not possible. 5-second time penalty for Fat Tortoise for speeding in the pit lane. He's gone and put a set of inters on. So he's going to look for that. I don't know if you'd say undercut, but I don't know if an undercut is actually possible. Because I think we're just going to be going and staying out on the circuit, on the slicks, just with these conditions. That is the gamble these guys have got to take, because it's only going to be a lap or two that we have. As you can see, the track is getting wet now. You can see it dampening up. And it might be time for a pit stop from some of these guys. Let's watch on board and see. Will Zingy, the race leader, react? Will he make everybody react behind him? Will he go for that pit stop and try something a little bit different? Davin, I don't know. Luke, he's got that position now, of course. The leader, actually, I should put the gap to. And that is Zingy going into the pit lane. So he is going to react and he's going to go for that intermediate tyre. Davin, Luke, they're both staying out. Zingy's going to be absolutely rapid on these tyres. Is he going to be able to keep it together, though? I don't quite know. Zingy, right now, P4, 1.7 seconds behind Breezer. They're going to be absolutely rapid on these intermediate tyres. Fat Tortoise could gain here, at least on the AI car, but they'd gain it anyway. Look at this difference that Zingy has. Look at the grip he has. The confidence that he can have on the traction. Might even go for a move here into the braking zone. Yes, he will. Look at the advantage. What a call there. Zingy has made that mega master plan call, as that is David making a mistake. Luke catching up. Zingy's done it. These guys are going to be under extreme threat, and I don't think it really matters that 28 to 29, they're going to have to either stay out or go into the pit lane. And of course, if David does pit, Luke's probably going to stay out. And Breezer, of course, would probably react to that as well. So David might be in a bit of trouble. He just has to stay in front as he locks up the rears. Is he going to stay out? Is he going to go into the pit lane? I don't quite know. He's going to stay out. He has to take the gamble. Luke in P2 also taking that gamble. Zingy, of course, already pitted. And Breezer's going to take that gamble. Do not bin it now, Breezer. Do not bin it now. David leads. Luke is going to be hunted by Zingy. It's almost like Sochi all over again as they lose the rear around the corner. Keeping it together. Zingy's right there. He doesn't need to risk it too much. He just needs to get through sooner rather than later. DRS is disabled. Round the outside he goes of Luke. No surprise, but it's still had to get the move done. He's not waiting around. He knows what he's got to do, and he's going to do it. He has to get ahead of David here if he wants to have any shot at winning. David, he's ahead for now. He has the advantage here, but we got a heck of a lot of corners to get through until we get to the final straight of the track. And look at that gap that he's already gained. Might even try and send it round the outside into the hairpin, into the chicane. Pushes him off circuit. He's going to have to try and hold on. Round the outside once again, now to the inside line. And Zingy is going to hold it. What a move. Zingy's done it. And David is just going to have to hold on. And I think that's going to be it. I think that's going to be it. Zingy, unfortunately, he's not done enough today. But what a drive. That is a champion's drive for sure. Zingy comes round the final corners, and he is going to be crowned the winner of the Miami Grand Prix. What a job. He's finally won a feature race in the summer season. That's something to celebrate. David in P2, and then Luke will take P3. Breezer in P4 in the end. And Breezer is the summer season Friday tier champion for the first time. What a race. What a race. Well done to Breezer. Very, very well deserved. The whole season, they've drove some absolutely amazing races. And they deserve it. Well done, Breezer, indeed. Well done. What a legend. They've done it. The championship is over. And he can breathe. He can breathe. Luke Driver of the day. They make their way up the order after a heck of a race on that very tricky setup. He's done it. He is the man. All eyes on him for the minute. But unfortunately, it wasn't enough. It's just a saddening truth. But he gave it all, and he should be proud of himself. He should be very, very proud of himself. A very well-deserved win. Well done indeed. Zingy wins, David in P2, and then we have Luke in P3. Breezer takes P4, Fat Tortoise in P5, and then DNFing was Marco Cohen, and disconnecting was Reese. Unfortunately, we're going to skim through the rest of the driver's instance and pit stop section for the race director, just in case we need to later on. But other than that, that's it. I don't think we need to do any more. And we will get to the post-race interviews. We will see you in a bit. Hello everyone and welcome back to LSI Summer Season. We're today for the Friday to post interviews of the Miami Grand Prix, the final race. It is over, the championship is decided. Breezer is the champion. Breezer, welcome and well done. It was a very, very tricky race today. There's a lot of pressure. That's what made it so difficult. And of course at the end, there's a very greasy track, very wet on slick tyres. You managed to do it. Throughout the whole season, you've done an amazing job. You deserve it. How does it feel? Well done.
Well, first of all, thank you very much. It feels good. It was tricky race. I had no pace. I had bad setup. I was struggling so hard, but I want to say GG to Zingy because he was just a brilliant driver. And I know this is a sad week for all of us because Sebastian Vettel has retired. But one star is gone and new Irish star is reborn. So I want to say GG to Zingy, aka Red Boat. You've done a very good job.
Thank you very much. What a speech, what a speech. I'm almost crying, honestly. And yeah, I mean, I can't really ask about the next race. I can ask about next season. Are you excited to carry on? Do you think you can challenge for more success like this into the next official seasons?
Yes, for sure. I'm looking forward to the EU1 season because I want, of course, to be championship contender. I have won the EU2 tier last season and now I want to move to EU1 and win it also. So very looking forward to it.
Yeah, well done indeed. You deserve it a lot. And well, one last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
Rain is coming.
How would you describe your championship in 3 words?
Well, you can't be surprised with that. I don't know.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I just say very well done. That's what I would say.
Thank you.
And we move on to Davin. Davin, that's a lovely P2 in the end. A solid result, and finally managed to get it across the line. Are you happy with that one?
I'm really, really happy.
Yeah. Fair enough. Can you take us through it? Can you take us through this all?
Yeah. The race was pretty good, but we have a really talented driver in this league. Yeah, the good thing in this league is we have a really talented Irish driver, Zingy, with his beautiful face and his red hair and the skills in Formula 1. He can make it to the top step and become an F1 world champion. So I'm wishing you good luck in the future and you can become the second Sebastian Vettel.
Fair enough. I'm gonna let that speech stand on its own. But yeah, well done for you today. It was a very tricky race, but you managed to get through it, and yeah, it's great to see you on the podium once again. So yeah, well done today. Next season, do you think you can bring a little bit more success to the future seasons? Do you think you can get up there into a title fight?
Yeah, but only if I can drive in Red Bull, because I need to get that red hat spirit in the team. So yeah.
Okay. I mean, we'll have to see how it goes. Can't guarantee anything, but for your sake, I hope it does happen. But yeah, we'll have to see what time tells. But yeah, well done. One last question. How do you describe your race in 3 words?
Exciting. Nerve-wracking.
Fair enough.
And difficult.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Well done today. And that's been it for the post-race interviews of the Miami Grand Prix. That's been it for the Friday tier. Thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure. We'll be back tomorrow for the Saturday tier, the final event of the summer season. And then, of course, if you want to get involved in some open lobbies, we'll be back on Tuesday. But other than that, it's been a pleasure, and we will see you tomorrow. Good night, and bye-bye.